Welcome back, y'all. Yeah, no. Welcome back, y'all. So, in today's episode, we are going to put this brand new windshield in without breaking it, because it was very expensive. And hopefully it works out with no problems, because I'm using a couple things that I have never used before, like this Fast Cure auto glass urethane. I've normally always used the black tubes in the past, and I couldn't get any orange cap primer, so I got this, which I don't believe I've ever used this before. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Maybe once. I remember using one with this little sponge deal, but reading the reviews, it sounds like it's something different. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. This just primes the glass. It's like a self-etching primer to help promote adhesion for the urethane. And I also have a new molding gasket deal to go around the windshield. So hopefully that works out and we don't have any complications. Oh, and I got a couple suction cups too. So let's see how this goes. Pretty straightforward process. I'm just gonna come in here and trim down the old urethane till it's nice and even. You want to take about half of it off. There's not a whole lot here. This is factory, so you really don't have to take a whole lot down. But basically, you just want a nice clean cut all the way across, and you don't want any overlapping edges so water doesn't get down through there. So just make sure it's nice and smooth all the way around, and then we will lay down our bead of urethane and set the glass in. So hopefully this goes well. So this is a lot easier when you have a long handled knife. You have a lot more control over it, but it's working just fine with this little box cutter. But basically what you do is you start your cut, you want to take it and you want to pull it back as you're cutting and just pull along. And I had to cut, that was built up right here, I cut along this side right here so it would pull up. And you just take it and just make a cut and pull back as you go, just like that, trying to keep it all in one piece so you don't have to start another cut. It's no big deal if it does come apart and you have to make another cut. You just want to make sure it's a smooth, even cut so you don't have anything overlapping, like how you can see kind of right there it is. So you want to smooth that out. This is on the bottom so it's not really that big of a deal down here. Obviously water's not going to go in and up, but it's more along the top that you don't want to have any overlapping flaps or anything like that. So like that, just smooth it out. Like that. Just keep pulling along. You don't have to cut all of it off. You don't have to go all the way down to the pinch weld. You just want a nice, smooth, clean surface to lay your bead on. Well, see, that came all the way to the pinch weld right there, which is not a big deal. We will make sure that we prime that area right there above the stop. Just keep pulling, just like that. Obviously you're gonna have to start and stop and reposition. If you had, like, if you do this a lot and you have a really long knife, you can make one solid cut all the way around and just keep pulling on it. So it doesn't matter if you start and stop, just make sure it's nice and uniform all the way around. So not much to it. Alright, well, once you got your glass clean and you got your molding on, then you can prime the outside of the windshield. You just want to prime the black part. You don't want to etch any of the actual clear part of the glass, because obviously that's going to fog it up. You're not gluing there anyways. Alright, so you push the cap in and kind of twist it, and that'll pop it. And then you can squeeze the primer out. And we just take our little doohickey and just gently go around, because this stump comes out really quick. Like I said, you don't want to get any on the clear part. And just go all the way around the black part. Okay, we got the glass prep, suction cups on, and since I didn't want to spend $30 on a 24-to-1 caulk gun, I got the 12-to-1, and I don't know, reviews said it's, you know, you need a really strong caulk gun. I'm not trying to spend that much money to use it one time, so I just boiled this for a while. It's pretty hot, so it's cooled down a little bit. Hopefully that'll help it come out with ease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my tip, and then I'm going to cut a little V into it like that. So we lay it down flat and lay the bead around, and it'll come up at a point. So I'm going to cut the tip and start trying to lay the bead down now. Okay, this stuff is coming out just fine. It's really hot, which is good. So basically, you see how we have our tip cut, and I mean, it really just depends on preference how wide of a cut you want to put on it, but I'm just gonna go straight down, push it out, and then I'm just gonna pull it along and then stand my bead up just like that. Even pressure, stop when you gotta pump it again. You want it so the bead stands up in a point. It's a lot easier doing this with an electric caulk gun, but I'm not spending $150 on one to use it once. Okay, so if you ever have to stop a bead and you restart it, you want to come in from the side and just catch on the side and bring it over. You don't want to stop a bead at the top of the windshield, because that's where it's going to be most prone to leak. So luckily I have a convertible. I'm going to get up inside the car and I'm going to do that all the way across. But as far as down the A-pillars and on the bottom, it's not a big deal if you have to start and stop. Just make sure that you roll it in from the side when you restart it. Just like this. And catch it back in like that. Alright, we have a bead. Alright, now it's time to set our glass, and what we want to do is we want to focus on our molding at the top and just make sure we line that up, and as long as that's lined up you're good, and then you can let it, if you're above the stops, you can just let it slide down, so it's not a big deal if it's off a little bit, because obviously we have a lot of glue. So you just want to focus on your molding up here and make sure that lines up on the pinch weld. Alright, here goes. And once you get your glass set where you want it, and you just take the tips of your fingers and just apply light pressure on it. Just like that. You don't want to press it down extremely hard, but just nice light pressure just to get it set in. We'll do that on the other side too. And there, you got glass, Lieutenant Dan. If your molding's like doesn't set right, or it's like kind of baconed or whatever, it'll flatten out in the sun. That's not a big deal. So there you go. Windshield is in. One more step to being street legal. And I've never used this fast drying stuff before, so I don't really know how fast it does dry, but I know when I did glass in the past, we would always tell people to wait at least an hour or two before you drive, and it would take 24 hours to cure. So lucky for us, we're not going anywhere anytime soon, but good rule of thumb is about 24 hours before you really want to go doing anything that you would want to be confident that if you went flying through the windshield that it's going to hold you in. So But that's it. There ain't a whole lot to it. That's how you put a windshield in a Miata, or any other car for that matter. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, y'all.